My guest today is by no means a stranger to the DMV music scene. Over the past 20-something years, he's worked with some of the top artists to include Experience Unlimited, Rare Essence, 911, Teddy Riley and Guy, Genuine, and TCB. From the areas of sound crew to performer to management to production, this man has worn just about as many hats in the genre as I have. And now with the announcement of the Washington Wizards' new G League affiliate team, Capital City Go-Go, and his having a hand in helping the wind blow in that direction, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Darrin X. Frazier. All right, first of all, I want to give a shout out to my man Darrin X. Appreciate you coming through.
Anytime, man.
It's a historical cat here on the go-go scene. I mean, Darrin X, he go all the way back. Well, my memory goes all the way back to him. If you have ever seen Go-Go Live at the Capitol Center, this is before he was on the stage, but when he was behind the scenes and stuff. But there's a little, I can't remember where that clip is, but if you pull that Go-Go Live at the Capitol Center, and it may have been when RE was playing.
Yeah, it was on.
You see the cameraman get Darrin hiding behind the speaker. He kind of like this trying to get out of the way of the shot, but the shot got him anyway. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember. I blame Funk for that. The cameraman was trying to follow him. He went way off to the side. You know how Go-Go is.
Yeah.
See people over there, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Over there.
So, First of all, just say greatly appreciate you coming through this joint.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
And chatting it one-on-one style.
Sure.
The way I like to kick it. So it's quite a bit of things I want to talk about. And I definitely wanted to get into the new Capital City Go-Go thing. But first of all, I want to start off saying I watched you the other day, a clip on, it was on the internet. I believe it was Heartbeats, Congo Hour show.
Yeah.
But somebody, and people, you know how people, it was a live thing.
Right.
So you know how people, when you're doing a live Facebook joint and people comment while you're doing it live, somebody wrote, I don't know who this guy is, but he's talking some serious stuff.
Like, it sound like he got some sense.
All right. So I said, okay. And our game is to keep history, keep whoever don't know in the know.
Right.
There was a time, once upon a time, when T-My Go-Go first started, when in the 90s, around 1996, when there were youngins out here who didn't know that Lil Benny once played with Rare Essence. And this was in the 90s. So right around that time, I said, okay, that's what made me realize it's very important to know, for everybody to know their history, not just what's going on now. So the youngins who were in the 90s are probably like in their 30s now, who was thinking that. So when I saw a person say that, I said, okay, wait a minute. They probably know the name. You know how it is when you know the name, but you don't know the face, and you definitely don't know the history. People know Darrin X, and you really got to people know you if they say, the X-Man or whatever, Darrin X. If I ask you to talk, and I might tell you, hold in and wait. You might know him for that little cut there that y'all used to do with Rare Essence. But there's a whole history that goes on with you even before Rare Essence in this go-go game. You know what I'm saying? So I want to start this session off and talking about Darrin X. Frazier and your introduction in the go-go.
Okay. So pretty much my introduction into go-go was through Experience Unlimited.
EU, okay.
That's how I got in the game. My first band I ever worked for setting up equipment was with Experience Unlimited. Radar and my man Gene and John, all on a crew. A friend of mine who grew up in my neighborhood, Brian Wimbush, my man, shout out Chef B, doing this thing down in Atlanta. he knew a cat who knew Radar. And we used to always go down to Glass Manor Rec to see him play. Mm-hmm. And I met Radar. Radar said, we wanted to get in. We had no money to get in, but he was like, if you help me put this equipment up, you can get in.
Right.
So when I did that, he was like, well, tomorrow we're down Williams Park. Mm-hmm. You want to get down in Williams Park? Holler at me. I'll be down there about whatever time he was going to be down there. And I went down there the next show, and then the next show, and the next show. Next thing you know, I was a regular, setting up equipment. I was part of the group, part of the crew. So it was like, then I started getting paid.
Okay.
And then the guys started really like bringing me in. So EU was my first band I started.
So what year you would say that was?
About 83, 84.
Okay.
83,
all right.
84.
Radar. Right. I used to think Radar and Tino were brothers.
Yeah. Those guys were pretty cool. But when I got there, Ula Tony was still there.
Okay.
Metro Man had just left. Ivan was there. Tino, Bear, Juju, Shorty Tim.
Right.
So actually, right after that, Foxy Brown came.
Okay.
Right? So I was up all the way to that point till I then went to RE.
All right. And you went to RE doing the same thing.
Yeah, working on the crew, setting up, putting up. This is back when we used to carry everything: the monitors, the PA, the band equipment, the back line. We used to set all of that up. Right. So EU had all of that. Every band had all of that.
Everywhere they went.
Yeah. So Essence, I think I got Essence in late 85, 86, early 86. Because I was still in high school then. So I know I was still in high school then. So when I was working with them, and that's how I got with those guys. And I got a job through them, through my best friend Jerry Vines, who left EU to go with Essence. And pulled me along with him. Okay. So, that's how me and his history. Me and his history go back to like so we both started in the same place.
So you're basically, by the time you got to Essence, you were already a vet doing that.
Yeah, I knew everybody. I knew Benny that sets up the equipment now for RE that does this thing. Yeah, Benny was back in class. We were both young back then. Mm-hmm. Benny was working with class back then doing the exact same thing that I was doing with EU.
Because his brother played with class.
His brother played the drums. Right. So I knew Spanky, Sax, Tidy. I knew those guys. I knew Doc from Air Raid, Mike Hughes. I knew everybody from Pantworth, from Skin Tights to Ghost, John Cavallou, a couple of guys from Mass Extension. Because I was just the guy who just hung around, set up the equipment. Anything something broke or somebody needed something, they always would come to us because we knew where the equipment was at. So that's how we got cool with everybody.
Let me ask you something. Talking about the guys who set up equipment, and it's really interesting, and I'm only saying this because that's what it remind me of. They're almost invisible. It's almost like school, the maintenance men in school, to keep things going in the school system. You got a school full of kids, but the maintenance man is always invisible. That's the same thing I would say probably to the sound crew.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Because you may see them during the show, but they're definitely their biggest part, I would say, is before the show and after the show.
Right. And during the show.
We're during the show, but we watching the band.
Exactly.
We may see you if they call you on stage for something.
Which is a perfect example of that Highland tape when the power goes
exactly.
out. Calling all the texts.
Yeah, exactly. Looking Darrin Ackerman, right? Did you know Darrin Ackerman?
Yep.
Okay. I say that to say that, so did everybody had their own sound crew? You mentioned Radar.
Yep.
You mentioned Mike Hughes or whoever. So was there a thing where all of y'all knew each other from the different bands?
Yeah, and it was a competition thing. You gotta understand back then, you was there. It was a lot of competition. So it was a lot of sabotagery and making sure somebody's speaker wasn't working.
So the rumors of that was true.
Yeah, it was true. A lot of foot pedals became missing and snare heads were gone. And, it happened a lot. And we were part of it. I watched people equipment get misplaced.
I would have done. Yeah, I'd love to know who took my flanger from Cherries. I'm thinking it was Bula. Rest in peace, Bula.
But that was the game. We all were competition, but we all loved each other. We all respected each other. And back then, you could never imagine other people playing for other bands at the same time they were playing with other bands.
Yes.
Because it was a family thing. We all were from different neighborhoods, but we all came together and EU was my brand, so I never let nobody talk bad about EU, even though I was an Essence fan. But this was
your team.
That's my team I was down with. So whenever it was an opening band in front of us that had a PA, and they finished, we would turn their stuff over, man. Get it out of the way, man. Time for the real guys to come through. You know what I'm saying? So it was a competition thing, but we all had fun. All
right, so you got to Red Essence, so you on that squad. Y'all even had uniform. Red Essence gave y'all a uniform, right?
They were a business, actually. They were the first real thing I saw that was like a business. Like when you worked for Red Essence, you got a check, you paid taxes, you had health insurance, you had all of that. Yeah. Like it was actually a business. So their thing was, we can't be liable for you to be hurt. So the law says you have to wear steel toe boots, and you have to wear overalls, and you have to wear gloves. Yeah. So that's why you always saw that crew wearing that stuff, because they were required to wear it. Because if you didn't have it on and your foot got hurt, or something fell on you, they weren't liable to pay for your,
It's interesting you say that, because I don't know who I read in what book. It may have been the book that Kip Lonell and Charles Stevenson wrote, but an article where it mentioned, it may be a newspaper, where it mentioned Red Essence was probably the only band they knew that existed probably in the world that ran their band like a company.
Yep. Red Essence Enterprises.
That's what was written on the check.
Yeah,
right?
The company that runs the band is called Red Essence Enterprises.
Right.
Back then, it was Red Essence Enterprises. So, yeah, they ran it like a business. And when I got there, Funk hired me. He was the guy who gave me my job setting up. And he asked me, did I know what I was doing? And I was like, yeah, I come from EU. And, Funk, and that don't mean nothing, Slimmy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my man.
So I got in, and Ned took me on this wing, because I was doing a little bit of both. Vincent Green was still there when I got there. He was doing the drums. Because a lot of those guys left to go play with Benny when I got there. That's how I got the job. Okay. A lot of those guys left to go work with Benny and the Masters when he left. Because when I got there, John Cabaloo was there. He was rapping.
So we talking 86.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Right. John Cabaloo was already there rapping when I got there.
Okay.
Right. He stayed for about maybe 2 months.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty quick.
And then Funk came back.
Right.
And from that point on, that's when all the Metro Club tape CD and all that was made. Black Hole, Capitol Center, all that. That's how that came.
Okay. So all right. So you're working with the crew, with the RA crew, and all of a sudden now you're playing with the band.
Right.
How does that transition happen?
Let me see. Well, got fired in '88.
How many times you got fired? Funk probably fired you a lot, right?
Well, he threatened to fire me a lot. Always threatened to fire us a lot, because we, just being guys, just having fun, joning on the band, making fun of everybody, because we the crew. What you gonna do? Fire us all? We gonna set this up. So we it got on the Funk threatened to fire us, but pretty much in '88 was it. Jury was at that point. Jury was like, I'm done. I'm going on to bigger and better things, and he went and did his music career thing. Right. I left and did the same thing. Got into ran into met Teddy Riley back then.
Yeah, because you was working out with Teddy,
right? So, hung around him for a while and started going on the road. Learning all the behind the scenes stuff as far as producing and all the tricks and trades he was using. And I still would come home, because my heart still was with RE. Right. Back then, EU was on the road then, so I would run into them on different tours while I was out with guys. So then when I would come home and sit and, go and see RE, I would come on stage and mess around with Godfather, because he was there. He came back. In, right. So I would go and play up on stage, him make noise on his little Emax he had. Right. Playing little samples. And one night he was like, man, take my keyboard home and put some sounds in it. Because I know you got some sounds. I was like, yeah, I got some sounds, so I should take the keyboard home, put some sounds in it, and bring it back. But that wasn't a weekly thing, because I still was doing my thing on the road, going out of town, hanging out with New Jack Swing, trying to learn that thing. So then I would come home, and after I came home, after a while, I had a sample from Teddy that he was working on Michael Jackson's album, the Dangerous album. Yeah. And he had a loop on there that I liked it, so I took the loop, I put it in the Emax, and I took it to the show one night, and I told Godfather, I'm going to run this loop at the end of the show. And at the end of the show, because Donnell always used to rap over some of the stuff I played. So this particular night when I ran that loop, I know where you're going. Go ahead. It was Brothers That Be Funk. Yeah. Right? So when I ran that loop, right.
I mean, they slowed it down.
Right. I slowed it down, and I chopped it up towards the end. But when I ran that loop, Donnell just started doing his thing. Right? And this was down Triples.
Okay.
And Funk was the one that came to me and said, I think I need to do something with that. But I'm laughing at him like, yeah, whatever, all right, cool. Next thing you know, Foots called me. It's like, man, I'm gonna get you in the band. I'm like, huh? He said, I'm gonna put you in the band. So whatever. So I came one night, like maybe 2 weeks later. I'm sitting up there and Funk was like, go put a shirt on. That's when everybody had to wear shirts every night. I said, go put a shirt on.
Uniform.
So I can put a shirt. I get to put a shirt on. Yeah,
you get a uniform.
So I get to put a shirt on. But before then, I mean, even sitting in with them when Mickey wouldn't come, I used to play the Congo some nights.
Right.
Like one night Mickey didn't come on his birthday. They had a show down Prince Frazier. He didn't show up. And Funk was like, they had the all white sweatsuits, and he's like, put the sweatsuit on. Mickey ain't gonna come because it was like getting late and he ain't showing up. So I started playing. So I'm like, usually he'll pop in. But I actually, for my first time ever, played a whole show with R.E. Busted my hands completely up. And Mick laughs at me to this day about that. You know, he just made a comment not too long ago about his Congos, but it was blood all over his Congos. And he thought somebody got murdered on him or something. He's like, what happened? But just sitting in with those guys back then, I learned the craft. I learned the accents, the patience, and the creativity those guys had. And even though they didn't get along a lot, they did on stage.
Right.
They really did on stage.
There's a story. There's some. I'm anxious off the side. That Michael Jackson loop you're talking about, right? Did you slow down? You the one. There's I had a tape of R.E. I can't tell you where it was from because this is back then.
Right.
And I knew one I knew that it was the Michael Jackson loop because Byron told me, But one time I think it was metrical. One time they played it and they broke it down. In other words, how can I say, bro? They played the loop first.
Right.
And the loop was just playing over and over and over. And then White Boy called each other part in.
Right.
And it's almost like how how they build on the song.
Exactly.
So we're gonna groove with
song,
this.
right.
And then they'd come in, do. I'm like, wait a minute, that's how they build that song. Yeah. And if you heard it by itself all together, probably wouldn't catch it. But because they separated and built the part up, and I lost that tape. Anybody who got that tape, I need that tape. I would love to have that tape.
Yeah, and that was probably White Boy doing that back then.
Yeah, he was rapping, and he was calling the parts in. Right. He would call everybody in, and then it became one song.
It was pretty much studio sessions. That's how we build songs in the studio. That's pretty much how we would sit there with Mickey and Foots, and Donnell would be doing his scratch vocals. All right, right here, I'm gonna do the breakdown right here. And Mick, I want you to do I'm gonna break down at the second bar. So they would leave. Right. And then it would leave, then Byron would come in and Ned would come in, and then they would fill in that part because it already was structured. We knew they were going with the song because Donnell was leading it. So all we had was Mickey and Foots playing. And Ned and BJ would just fill that. And then White Boy would come in and I would finish the ending parts, and then Donnell would just stay there all night and finish his vocals on the end. Yeah, and then do the mix.
Okay. And that's how it's done. I mean, take that note too, because a lot of people, that's how songs were being created back then when everybody talk about originals.
It wasn't hard. Like people say it's so hard to produce records, go-go songs. To me, it was never hard because I had a coalition of the willing that was just ready to go in and do whatever we needed them to do. Okay. Come lay your part. As soon as you finish, you can go home. All right. They come in and lay and they gone. So all I need you to give me a solid 4 minutes of whatever this song is, and you can go home. All right. And that's how they did it.
That's another tape I had. You and Byron singing.
Oh.
Don't Be Afraid. Aaron Hall jump.
Actually.
Byron singing and you singing the second part.
Yeah, I don't know how they got that. I mean, that was...
So now you on the microphone singing.
Because I'm a clown, man. I'll do anything just, what I'm saying, to make somebody laugh, man. It was just like... They dared me to do it. Like, you're not going to do it. I said, I bet you I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if Godfather could do it, I know I could do
Godfather did with Secret God.
He did Secret God. So it's like, why not? You know what I'm saying? So that's the trust and the friendship and the fellowship we had amongst each other. Like, for me, the thing that they accepted me into the group to challenge me to do something like that, I got to step up and do it. I can't tell them, no, I can't. You know, why am I here if I don't raise my level of performance, you know what I'm saying, when they asking me to do something. Okay. So even if I couldn't sing, I'm gonna learn right now, so, but I ain't gonna, if I don't do a good job, they'll never ask me again anyway. So.
Who dared you? Who did? You pretty tight with Byron, right? But who did you?
It was Donnell. I could say Donnell.
Okay.
Donnell always is an instigator. Like he will egg people on to do something. Like he'll pick with you. I bet you won. I know you. That's just him. And then you get to the point where, all right, watch.
Right.
And I did it. So, I mean, then it was one show out of 50 or 60 shows. I mean, it really didn't matter because we always been moving on to something else, doing something different. Right. You know, I used to rap the Scarface joints. You know what I'm saying? And Doug used to rap the
Shorty Doug used to Hey Young World.
Yeah, Hey Young World. Yeah, so, you know, it was who wanted to do this. Yeah. Step up. It was never one person did it all. Right. You know, so it was always an opportunity to shine sometimes. Right.
But you still, I go back to you was still pretty tight with my cousin Byron.
Byron was there when I got down the crew. He was playing bass first with Raz. Right. So when he got to play keyboards, actually Tom from Class Band was playing when Cabaloo and them were there. Because Tom sat in when Cabaloo was rapping for
on keyboards.
On keyboards. He sat in for a while because all those guys they went to go play with Big.
That's right, Mark and them.
Everybody. I mean, they left Essence like they rolled out. They was gone.
The Byron they left too, right?
Left too. A whole bunch of people.
A lot of people don't remember that.
When he came back, it was like I always knew Byron from high school. Right. We all went to Lago together. Me, him, Joe Claire, Les Black. It was a bunch of us went to Lago. Right. So it was like. Well, Byron was always to us like the Stevie Wonder. You know, it was like, he can play. Like, that dude gonna be something. And then to know that he came up with Lock It, just that phrasing, it's like, it's perfection. If you don't play it that way and you can tell that somebody doesn't know what they're doing when they're playing it. That whole lockage, and that's a testament of how talented he was. Those fingers, that coordination, that's just a testament of how talented that man was as far as playing, hearing stuff, and then everybody think that's a sample, but that's him playing a drum beat with a snare and a hi-hat, and a bass drum, and on the key, and he's just beating boom,
and doing the too,
and playing it.
So he's basically playing the whole pattern. Basically
playing all of it with his fingers, no sample.
And everybody thinks it's just a sample.
Everybody thinks it's him playing it. Nah. And to this day, I can't play that. I cannot do that pattern.
It's funny. I heard a band recently. Mike Muse was playing. He was doing the Dunbar reunion, so he was doing the tribute to Byron, and they were playing that, right? And I said, it don't sound like how Byron used to do. I couldn't figure out, you know what I'm saying?
Byron played on a DX7
in that DX7
for a long time. I mean, I watched him fight that thing because it was dying towards the end. He had to force get another keyboard, but that one cartridge he had all of those kalimbas in it and all those sounds he made and played all those Essence songs.
Okay.
One keyboard he had for like 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, that DX7.
That DX7 had put a lot of music on a lot of RE CDs and tapes.
All right.
For sure.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So you with RE for a while, and you doing your thing. I mean, you up in the front now. You got now one of the songs they playing, the hottest song that everybody loving, like one-on-one, is the Holding That Weight.
Holding That Weight, and then
Holding That Weight, and the
and the right. Holding That Weight was how did that come to be? I don't know how that. I think it came off of something Ned was doing in the studio, and I think Donnell had heard it or Dre had heard it, and he wanted to like translate into a song because we were trying to keep up with what hip hop was doing, pretty much. So we was just trying to just stay ahead of the game. I think was one of the reasons why they really put me in the game. Right, it's because of that. So when we came up with that, I had to wear the keyboard that you wear around your neck.
I remember that.
Right? So we did a Capital Center show. And they made me wear it, right? And Funk used to call me Teddy Riley before he gave me the name X. Like, he used to call me Teddy. So if you ever listen to him, say, hey, Teddy! And he used to call me, and I'm like, man, stop calling me Teddy Riley, right? But he's like, you look like him, so I'm gonna make you wear the. So they made me wear the little guitar thing.
We used to laugh at that.
Yeah, so it was a Capital Center show. I had to wear that thing on the stage. I'd sit in the middle of the stage, play Holding Down, Wait on the Jump. But it was cool, you know, because I was playing with one of the bands I grew up listening to. Right, it was an experience. But that's all of that. That's how that came to be. And was just a spin-off of a rap song we was playing. Yeah. And Foots just kept playing the beat one time. He just kept saying, run with it. Like, just keep going with it. So I just kept running with it. Donnell's coming with, do you want the funk? What? So we just kept running with it.
So those two Jones, now you were not only a fan, you became a sound crew dude. Mm-hmm. You became, on the stage as performing. Now you're playing a signature part that actually really, there's a lot of, put it this way, there's been a lot of people come through RE.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Everybody don't have a signature point, so a lot of people don't know. Like you mentioned Tom.
Right.
On like when Leslie was on drums.
Exactly.
So, but now you got Jones to this day that really stamps you, signifies, okay, Darrin X was a part of this, and this hit right here, when I say hit, I'm not talking about hit like a record hit. I'm talking about
something that crowd just
the crowd responded to like crazy. Are Jones that you stamped on. So now you really made a stamp mark in there. Now it's almost over. Now the RE days is almost over, and it transforms to the 911. Now I don't want to get into. I don't do politics. Okay,
I get you.
But I want to. What I'm trying to do is bring your story up to today.
Okay,
you see what I'm saying?
I got you.
So now the RE thing, and just like before when Benny had left and he took his crew, and formed Benny and the Masters, which was, what'd you say, 90% of asses?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Even though some went back, that kind of almost happened the same way with the 911 thing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So now we're there.
I got to go back to Donnell on this one because back when Funk had left the band, in 91 or 92 maybe, Donnell was the one that came and said, hey, I'm going to need your help to finish this album because Funk was a big part of this, putting this together, but, we got to move forward. We got to do this. And Dre, White Boy wasn't even really the Dre he is today as far as rapping. He didn't even think he could even do it, but we fast forward into when I found out Donnell is leaving the band. Because Kent, rest his soul, had joked to me, oh, so you gonna play in Donnell band too, huh? After the Ritz one night. Him and Mike Baker joking around one night. Like we always do on the way home, getting in the cars. Oh, so you gonna play with Donnell band too, huh? I was like, what Donnell band? What, the band we in now? What are you talking about? He said, nah, Donnell got another band. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not possible the way Rare Essence is as an organization. How you gonna have a band? Because back then it was around the time when everybody was spinning off doing their thing. So I'm thinking like this must be a rumor. And he was like, nah, for real. So I called Donnell right on his phone while I'm standing out there laughing. Man, Kent out here telling me you got a band. And he's like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to call you back. I hung the phone up on him. I said, all right, Kent, I'll see y'all later. I hopped in the car and called him right back. I said, what do you mean? You got a band? Yeah, I told Rare Essence I was leaving. I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah. I made a decision. I got this. It really wasn't a band at first. I had some music put together, and I was just going to just release some music. But then someone in the band had convinced him to, let's just be a band. Okay. Like, let's just, no sense of you sitting home not participating in this thing. You down there in Florida, like, you need to keep going.
Right on.
So that's how we ended up, and I asked him, why didn't you ask me? He was like, well, I thought you was one of the guys that was going to stay. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. So I was like, man, and I told him, like, if you want me to do it with you, I'll do it. And he was like, yeah, well, if you want to do it, I got a spot for you. And I was like, say less. Okay. And I was in.
All right. So you rode that ride.
Yeah.
Before we go into talking about those stages, I got to talk about the video, the Brothers video.
Oh, yeah. We went to West Virginia to shoot that.
That's the one with the train,
right? That's the train. We out West Virginia to shoot that.
And you was kind of...
See, I was the clown. Like I said, I was always making people laugh. You know what I'm saying? I was always the one because I was just happy to be around these dudes that I grew up,
with the little tanker toy truck.
Right. So it was some kind of scene where Donnell had a verse saying something about
my little cousin,
in a verse he had on that song. He said something about some phony, whatever dudes try to play. But I had to dress up like, like a clown, not a clown, but some type of...
What's the character Martin do on Martin? And this is before Martin, but you dressed up Jerome. It was almost like the way
exactly.
You was almost just like Jerome.
I had the afro with the suit jacket on, and there was another thing. They wouldn't. You ain't gonna do it. I ain't give me the So I came up there I had the jacket, I had the wig, I had everything ready for him, and he thought I was playing, and I did the part, and they filmed it. Right. And when I saw it in the video, I was like, wow, they actually put it in the video. Yeah. And from that point on, it was never challenged me because I'm gonna step up. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
So you did that video with him. Mm-hmm. Plus, you were in practically all the video. You were in Lockett video.
I was in the Lockett video. That's the first one. We, it was Work the Walls.
Work the Walls video. You in?
We shot Lockett, then we shot the brother.
Were you in the Bank? No Bank No More video?
No Bank No More was right after Foots passed away. Me and No Blue was in that video.
Okay, all right.
We weren't in that video.
Right.
That was the only one.
Okay. So now we're doing 911, all the brown and all the white.
Right. That
was like 20 people in that band. Right?
Yeah, our original 911 was pretty much everybody who just wanted to be down with Donnell to do the situation. Right. And I learned this from way back from just getting in the go-go. You're never gonna end up with the band you started with. Right?
Yeah, that's
so. Whenever I look back now on the 911, when I see pictures from the first 911 and the second 911, all the way up to the third 911, those people have changed in that group from when we started. Right. So when 911 was around, we were playing. We were real. We knew we was basically playing off of curiosity. Mm-hmm. People just wanting to see what we was going to do after we left Essence. Mm-hmm. It was hard to get promoters to get behind us because they didn't know if the thing was going to pop or not. Right. But because of Donnell kept that thing going. Him and Baba, rest in peace. He kept that thing going regardless of what was happening around us. Because the unit I had, 911, I would put up against anybody at that point, at that time. I mean, we was there at that point. We could do almost anything we were doing, and it was nothing really stopping us but ourselves. Right. So a lot of times it was interband conflicts, the singer leaving, the bass player doing something different, got to get another bass player, or got another lead player now, got to get rid of this guy because now that guy want to play and he's better than that guy, but he was the one who started with us, and so all of that had to happen. So when we got the band that we really wanted, when Chris came, I think that right there with all the brown and all the white, I think that was the peak 911 right there. That was peak 911.
All right. Okay. All right. So from there, that lasts for a hot second. Mm-hmm. And then, all right, so now we're probably in a transitional phase, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened between that spot and TCB. So now you're part of the TCB camp. But now you're not wearing the stage hat anymore as a performer.
Right, because I think towards the end of 911, I was going on tour with Genuine more than I've ever done it, because I had more time to do it. Right. And then back then, that's when Raheem Devon was background singing and we got cool, and Jury was managing them also. Right. So then I started working with Raheem in between that time. So when 911 started to, I don't want to say fall off, but that brand of go-go we were playing started to fade off of us because us amongst ourselves couldn't keep it together. Yeah. I went off. I stepped off like completely out of go-go. I was gone. I wasn't doing nothing. And Donnell took that and transitioned it into what he's doing now. Mm-hmm. I came home off of one of the tours and I ran into Polo. Right. Going to see Backyard because I wanted some go-go. I was tired of being on the road. So I'm going to go get some go-go. So I went down to see them at the waterfront before they tore it all down. And, and I was going to see Backyard and Polo was coming out. And he asked me, "What you doing now, man? You ain't doing nothing, man. You need to come see my band." So I knew him from being a dude out the street riding motorcycles, just him. Right. What band you got? And I'm thinking like, you got a band like Polo got a band. Yeah, man, come see play. So gave him my number, and he kept at me. Like, come call me. So that's how I ended up with him going to a show one night and standing there for about 15, 20 minutes doing this. What am I listening to? Like, I'm trying to catch it. I'm trying to. They threw me off a little bit on that. Let me come back. All right, cool. That's how it was just a free for all, right? So I'm thinking like, but I'm watching the crowd, and I'm saying to myself, they done figured something out. He done figured something out. I need to understand this before I start criticizing this. I need to understand what I'm looking at first. So I took it, a couple CDs he had, and I had a couple favorite songs I liked that they played because I could understand them. And then I took them songs and built on the other songs that I didn't understand. So then when I started hanging around the band, I started getting how they mentality goes, how they understand how go-go goes.
Right.
And what I learned from them was bounce beat is nothing but work the walls on steroids.
Well, okay.
Right? It's the same.
Well, I see how the progression from work the walls.
Because Backyard was the one that pretty much translated into more commercial.
Yeah, Backyard took work the walls beat.
Right.
That's that dope jam stuff.
Right. So they made, and then what happened was the youngins who couldn't go to the Go-Go's, they pretty much gravitated to the TCB type bands who would just play that hype beat all night long. And that's what they would go to listen to that. That's what they wanted. And I asked Polo one night, why do you play that beat so much? He said, because when I was young and come see y'all play, all I wanted to hear was work the walls. Like that was turn up. Like that was when you went there, that was turn up. Same thing with Backyard. That's why Backyard was so popular, because they turned up more than we did.
Right.
So that generation of people came up with them. We could never take them away from Backyard. The people that we grew up with, who were there when we were there, just kept moving with us. We never siphoned none of those people off. They may have came when they got older, but we kept our core moving forward because we were the originators of that. So being with TCB made it fun for me all over again. Right. Like just doing all that with them. So yeah, he was the one that came and asked me, and then I told him I'm down. And when we sat down and made listened to some songs, I told him the same thing I learned with 911. The band you start with ain't gonna be the band you end up with. Because the more you get better at what you're doing, you're going to get more better quality musicians coming to want to play with you. Right? So, and that's what happened.
I call that the pyramid thing.
Right.
Okay.
So,
the upside down.
When that happened, we pretty much had to let some people go and bring some people in. Because it was a business that had to be nothing personal. Because we had to put ourselves in the best position to win. Because we had a lot of competition. Because nobody was paying attention to us at one time. Right. They was just laughing at that. But I'm looking at 300-400 teenagers in a barbershop that cleared out one night just for us to play in. And I'm like, they will do this anywhere we go. So I'm saying, they got it figured out. Everybody else need to catch up to us. So that's how we started flying. I was like, hey, we're going to get some jackets. We're going to make some movies. We're going to get some change. We're going to have some fun with this. Right. And so we just made it a brand. And we made it swag. And then everybody just wanted to get on it. So, and then it just took off. And
y'all did the movie. I forgot all about y'all did the movie. Big Weeds. Y'all did
Big Weeds did both of them. Keep It Gangsta 1 and Keep It Gangsta 2. Yeah. I mean, the script never was the script when it started. But
yeah, I remember.
Man,
I remember
we had fun.
Process.
We had fun, man. Weeds rest in heaven, man. He was a good dude. I had to put out a lot of fires between him and Low, man. Them two creative guys knocking heads about stuff. But I'm like, is about the movie. Like we gotta get it done. Like, come on, man, we gotta get this movie done. So yeah, that, like I said, they made it fun because they would do things other bands wouldn't even try to do.
Cause no other band put a movie out.
Nobody, nope.
You know what I'm saying?
And we did it ourselves.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's what I'm saying. The reason why Go-Go has always been self-contained.
And right. And the reason why he did it, because he was in my age bracket. Right. But he just wanted to do it his way. Right. So my thing was, do it. But he wanted to do it in a way where I'm gonna do it in a lane nobody's in. So when he wanted to do the movie, he said, the Good to Go movie y'all did. Who did that? I'm like, I don't know, some overseas guys. I don't know. Yeah. So he was like, I'm gonna do a movie just like that. And he said, I'm gonna do it. And he did it. Right. So when Wale came to us wanting to do stuff, he was like, whatever you want to do, we'll do it. And that's how we built a relationship with Wale. Because when Wale used to come on us, he was like, if you're going to do this, let's do this way and that way. And he would listen to us. But a lot of people didn't understand the bounce beat. They didn't want to be bothered with it. But after it started to catch on, and then more bands up under the REs and the EUs started doing it more, and they were packing the crowds, then everybody wanted to start snatching a little bit and taking a little bit here and there. But it was consistency, man. We were just persistent and consistent on what we were doing. And that's what most bands aren't right now. So, you know, that's the state of some of this that's going through.
And this thing I want to get into, too, because through this whole, your story, your history, what is the biggest thing that you say that you've learned through all that? I know you said what you learned through 911, regarding that you're never going to be in the band you start with, of course. I wrote about, in my book, I talk about that. I call it the upside down pyramid.
Yeah, and Benny with the same thing, leaving RE.
Right.
Masters being different members towards
For real, I mean, the Masters, how the Masters was in 86 when they started was not. I started playing, Benny was playing from 86 to 93. And I started playing one from 88 to 93, right? So.
You seen them come and go.
Right. Without a doubt. And probably the majority of the bands out here, probably ones who got the most core people to this day is Backyard.
Backyard, right.
So that's a definite thing. But what else would you say you learned? Because one thing I think that you seem to be really good understanding is the importance of branding. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because that's what TCB, they not, old school bands did that.
Yeah.
But when you talk about all these new school bands during that era, with nobody branding or creating merchandise like TCB was. You know what I'm saying? At that particular time, I know Lowe was a business owner as well.
All day long.
You know what I'm saying? So his mind was on that. But that's what TCB that's what I saw with it. Right. They saw this movement and we gonna take advantage of this.
Right. So and like I say, and Ben Abba, it was a businessman also.
Yeah,
who understand what branding meant and what it should be. I learned it as a kid with EU when I first got with EU.
Right.
The logo they had, not the new one with the I'm talking about with the man and lady.
Yeah, the man and lady.
That looked like some Earth, Wind and Fire stuff, right?
Yes,
so I'm
indeed.
looking at that like that was larger than life to me. Like I could never duplicate that because I couldn't draw.
Right.
So for me to see something like that, that's on a whole nother level with me. Right. Same thing with the RE sign. That was on a whole nother level to me. And every band that came out knew that they had to have something like that in order to compete with what was already out. Then.
Yeah.
Right. Then. So me knowing all that, knowing that branding is very important. When you walked in the Go-Go and you saw green police lights on top of speakers, you knew that was air raid.
Right.
You know they was about to play. Same thing with RE. When you seen the red lights, you knew they was about to play. Might not seen on the opening band, but when they started, or when you was standing outside and you pulled up, and you heard noise, man, that RE ain't playing. Yeah. Oh, yes, they are. They look at the red lights. You heard them get him in it. It was all about branding. See, most bands don't even get into that anymore. All they worry about is getting a group together and playing a cover tune the most crankingest way we can play it and hope people come see us play.
Right.
Instead of saying to ourselves, we have to make people like us in a way where they're a part of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So whenever we did that with TCB, everybody wanted to be down with us as far as just being around us because we were a brand. We were our own culture for real. Yeah. And then we made sure that we reached out to people in the entertainment business when they came to town, like the Trinas and the Young Thugs. I mean,
what's his name?
Slim Thugger.
What's his name?
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones.
Yeah, he was one of the first guys. Lowe said to me, Mike gonna do a song with his watch. I'm like, how you gonna do a song with? He said, 'cause I'm gonna make a song for him.
Right.
What? Okay, cool. So he made a song for Mike Jones. And when Mike Jones heard that thing, he came to DC, and every time he came, he wanted to come deal with us. He didn't go see RE, but everybody wanted him because he was one of the hottest dudes out.
Right.
But we figured out a way to do it in a way where people forgot. And it was like TCB is doing the same thing these vets should be doing, but they lost their way some kind of way. But Lowe wanted to learn. He was a student. He wanted to listen. He wanted to learn, and he just got into it and said, "I'm listening to people know what they're doing," and he did it.
Okay. All right. So all that stuff combining. And one thing I noticed, you always even active, like you said. In between times, you did the thing with Genuine. You did the thing with Teddy Riley and Guy and them. I remember one time during the time I was with Prop Utensils. I don't know if you remember, but we had a gig out of town, maybe North Carolina, Richmond, somewhere we were, and you hung out with us, but you had a show that same night. So we were like in the hotel messing with you, Funk messing with you about
getting back to DC.
How you gonna get back
show.
to DC in time because y'all got a show tonight?
So I wanted to come hang out with Prop Utensils.
Yeah, so you just went freely wherever. You see what I'm saying? And then so even more recently, you know, they built this net stadium. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm saying somehow I don't know what's going on, but I'm saying Darrin is involved in that somehow. You know, so what's going now? You're transitioning because you're a sports enthusiast. You know, a lot of musicians not a sports enthusiast. I'm not a super sports enthusiast, like I am regarding music. Right. But you're embedding yourself, becoming active in that. You know what I'm saying? So where I'm kind of walking to right now is what's going on. Last week there was the second one they done. At the Wizards game, where they have a live night, a concert night after the game.
After concert series.
Yeah.
They have after the
and they've had many artists there, but they've included Go-Go in there.
Yes.
First one, they had
Backyard.
They had Backyard, DJ Cool, and Familiar Faces.
Familiar Faces, yeah.
All right. So the most recently, they had EU and Junkyard. All right. Now, at this particular one, there was an unveiling.
Yeah.
Of the Capital City Go-Go, which is a
Development League
basketball team. Wizards, the G League team.
Right.
And how do you pronounce it? I don't want to say it. Ted Leonis.
Ted Leonis.
Right. I watched the press conference that he did. I put that on the T My Go-Go site and stuff like that. Can you kind of, when that kind of happened, everybody excited about it, but at the same time, many people confused about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. It was,
Yeah, you know, but everybody's excited because one reason I think they're excited because, wait a minute, we're being looked at again. You know what I'm saying? Some business-minded people are now cautioned, like, wait a minute, does this mean, and I even asked the question, you know, does this mean they on the name Go-Go? Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. And what you know, what does that mean? Then, you know, you and I talked on the phone, and it is basically, okay, it's like, people keep saying copyright, but I'm thinking it's more trademark. They trademark Capital City, Go-Go.
The whole name.
Right. And then I said, well, dang, I mean, why would anybody be upset about it? For example, everybody has Go-Go in their name. Over the years, everybody has put Go-Go in their name. You know, during the day, everybody was Go-Go this. That's, you know, they would Go-Go Darrin, Go-Go this, whatever.
Whatever, right.
The only person who kept Go-Go in his name, two people to this day, is Mickey and Bouncy.
Right.
Right. Everybody dropped it.
Right.
But even T My Go-Go, everybody adds their word on it because of their association with it.
With the genre.
Which I see this affiliate team. Okay, we're going to be associated with this genre. But break it down to me, because I seem to be talking and I want to hear you talk. You know what I'm saying?
Because basically, same thing with the Utah Jazz. You know, jazz is a genre.
Right.
They have copyrighted the name Utah Jazz for the NBA purposes of putting it on the team.
Right.
Nothing else. Jazz can still perform, create, and do whatever Jazz wants to do without Utah Jazz being involved whatsoever. So what happens in this case is that Mr. Leonis is a businessman, and he wants to expand his brand in the city that he has a franchise in. He has a WNBA team. He has 2 arena football teams. And he has an NBA team. And he has a hockey team, right?
Right.
So with that said, he says, what other opportunities are there out there for me to expand this brand? The NBA is a development league. Pitch for a team, right? He has everything in order. They gave him the okay. Like, you can have a team. Now the marketing and logos and branding comes into play. What are we going to name this team? Every team that has a D-League team has a sister city or some type of logo that's associated with something that's local.
Right.
Or being associated with that region. So they were trying to find a name looking around. And my boss that I work under down at Capital One Arena, Quentin Addison, was the one that brought Go-Go in there in the first place. So when they brought Go-Go in, they didn't know what it was. They just knew it was something. And they saw it, the reaction, the music, and they started doing their own research about it, and they said, why don't we just put that name on the team? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, Monumental said,
Monumental Sports
Entertainment said, right, let's see what the go-go community thinks about this first. Mm-hmm. So my boss reached out to me and asked me to call a certain amount of people.
And who was that? Can I ask?
Yeah, he asked me to call Tony, Big Tony from Trouble Funk, Sugar Bear, James Funk, Mickey, just pretty much the legends or anybody who would go online and just pop up and see, because they really didn't have any in-depth on who was still doing the most in go-go. They just knew that based off of what this Google search said. These like the legends of go-go. Anybody else we can get? So I started filling in the blanks for them, right? So we all get up there to the room, and they pretty much tell them that we admire what you guys do, we respect what you do, and we want to do something in a way that will elevate your genre. And they presented to them that we want to name our new basketball team the Capital City Go-Go.
Right.
And everybody in the room applauded it. And they told them we wouldn't have wanted to move forward without you guys being involved or seeing what we had. And James Funk was one of the people who said something about it being a trademark. Is this going to be something? And they explained to them like, no, this is pretty much us elevating you and the people you are and the people the thing that you do. Mm-hmm. We're not taking away. We're not adding anything to you. We're just putting a magnifying glass on what you guys are already doing and associating it with a sports team. And Mo Shorter from Junkyard raised the next question that he said, we spent decades making this sound, making this word go-go mean what it means to us. Right. Mm-hmm. So my only concern is if you taking this name and doing what you're doing and doing with it, will it somehow diminish what we as a culture have already done? Yeah. And they explained to us, by all means, no, that's not what we're getting into this for. We're getting into this because this is part of the city. Mm-hmm. This is a thing that brings the community together. This is the thing that you guys have created and you fellowship with. This is the thing that keeps the city to you guys. Right. And it's a brand. It's a genre, it's part of what you do. So everything that we're doing as a team pretty much elevates you as a culture. Now, if your culture is terrible, it's just going to elevate terrible culture. That's not their fault. That's our fault. Right. So we're responsible for the image that they're portraying. They have no dictations on how we present ourselves to the world. Mm-hmm. They just saying, when you see this team, what's a go-go? Do a search. Oh, it's this thing in DC people playing. Well, who's involved? What are the music? Right. And you clicking on bands and all you're hearing is other people's music. You saying to yourself, why would the team ever name themselves something like this? Mm-hmm. There's nothing of value to this other than making other people more money by playing other people's songs. Mm. So the originality, the branding, all the fun stuff that I learned growing up watching, that's what these people were expecting to get, and that's what they're looking for. Okay. And
I gotta ask, and you touched on something about, now, that makes me think, now bands really gotta get on their P's and Q's. Mm-hmm. Okay. It was something I seen online, Malachi. He made a live video online. He talked about a lot of stuff like that. And I agree with a lot of stuff except one area that I didn't. Mm-hmm. And he even mentioned Kato, whatever. Sorry about that, Kato, whatever. Right. But let's say, for example, I know for a fact that there's a whole lot of original material that's been made over the years. Okay? And I'm talking about what I would consider good stuff, but even if I don't consider good stuff, I don't like being a gatekeeper. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. You just put it out. Let the people decide. Does this look like something that'll give an opportunity? And I'm talking about groups from listening to whoever, who probably known for doing covers, but has whole album of material stuff. Does this mean that stuff can now have more of a chance, opportunity of being heard like it should be? Of course, because it's a win-win, because you're getting the spotlight shining you. You've never had shining you before. Right. From a different organization that's pretty much doing it in a way where we're relating your sound to sports.
Right? So this team would be traveling around the country representing the city with that name.
All right.
And if the team is any good, it'll just elevate it even more. You know, let's say if they win the championship.
Right.
You know, D-League championship. That's branding for us and for them.
That branding thing I'm talking
about. Right?
Exactly.
It all goes back to branding. And when I say bands need to be on their P's and Q's, and yeah, original music will survive, but here's the thing. We always say the fans don't support us, right? Mm-hmm. Us as bands need to support ourselves.
Meaning?
Each other, each band. Go see each other perform. Buy a ticket. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, a lot of people say I don't like doing things. Everybody want to get in free. Right? I'll stand in line. I'll come see your band play. If it's going to elevate the culture, it's going to elevate you, I'll do it. Because at the end of the day, that's what the bottom line is all about. It's about sacrificing. It's about putting something before yourself for somebody else down the road to benefit from, because you might not be around when go-go really gets its...
And you're bringing me something. A couple of years ago, we at Team Go-Go, we did a thing at Howard Theater, and it was our second annual honors. We honored a few. So down there we honored, and it was something he brought up there. And you can pull that up online, where he talks about Go-Go back in the day had this thing like the farming system. When we were all young, like you mentioned, Jerry, whoever, there was somebody older who pulled us into that.
Donnell came from Chance.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay. So, and I know, I think maybe we're all getting older. I'm thinking your average band got to be probably in their late 30s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And there's a disconnect with the younger generation. So, I'm thinking doing that. Are we, in other words, as an artist, should I be thinking about me personally being the one that's gonna shine because of this, or making sure the genre as a whole shine?
R&B, rap, jazz, none of those people have that conflict because they just do what they do. Good music solves all your problems. Right. If you have a hit record and people like it, you can pretty much write your own way all the way through until that record is no more good. So what I'm saying is, we know what good crank is as far as go-go, right? Like, we know what it sounds like when we hear it. We all have it. Like from Northeast Grooves, Project 71, Backyard, Essence. Like, we know what good crank is when we hear it in a certain song.
Right.
Us amongst ourselves need to come together in a way where we support bands that's even not as good as other bands are.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
So when I say amongst ourselves, it's like the fans are only gonna do what the fans do. And the fans are cyclical. They faddish. They go back and forth. You know, they'll go wherever the music go. You know what I'm saying? So what original music will do for us as a culture, we need to change the mindset that a cover tune is where we need to go first to make people like us. And us as a mindset as fans should also say that this is all we got. We don't have nothing else to belong to us. This is all we got. We need to take this as serious as we do rap music.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We need to get music back in schools.
Right.
You know, that type of thing. Like, a lot of people don't even want to pick up an instrument. They want to pick up a camera or a microphone. They don't want to do anything that challenges your thinking to actually learn something that's pretty much that we both grew up loving. Right. Easy to us to learn music because that's all we wanted to do.
So in your opinion, how do we get that train back moving? That's the train.
We gotta see, and here's the thing. I always go back to older people telling me about the civil rights movement. You know, Rosa Parks didn't know that her sitting down on that bus was going to start a movement. Right. She just was tired. Right. You know what I mean? It's got to get to a point where people just get tired and just do something. Like, we just got to be able to say, I mean, like you quitting smoking. You just say, I'm done with it. Right. Right? Right. That's me with go-go. I'm going to make this work. And I'm going to get around some people that think the same way I think, and we're going to make it work. Okay. And it's just that once you get that ball rolling, just like with TCB, once we got the ball rolling, people saying, oh, I want to be over there. So they come to it. They come running to it. Now, how can I help you?
They know because it's working.
It's work, right. So the thing is, we got to manifest something. Like, we got to manifest something.
It is.
Right. So where is it? Like, who's going to do it first? So we got a lot of bands competing. Right. Let's just say Black Alley just won a contest, right? Up at Prince's studio. Yeah. Right. Right.
Paisley.
They came home to no fanfare, to nothing, right? They just came home, right?
I hear you, but go ahead.
Right? So
I hear what you're saying.
No, and they're good at what they do, and I'm saying for us, like, that was a good look for us as a city, right?
As a city. Not as go-go, though.
Not as a go-go, no,
because
but
remember,
as a city.
They disclaim themselves as go-go.
I didn't know that. That's
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's, and reading them, I love Casey, I love all of them. And when
but Beatty, my man, cool.
Right. It's without a doubt. And always love what they're doing and their energy. And if you gonna see my go-go, you gonna see.
Right.
We talked about them winning that thing at the Paisley Park, but at the same, coming home to fanfare, this was the same group that's distinctively said, we are not go-go. Right. Do not call us go-go. I didn't know that.
Now, based off even what you still telling me that.
But you saying the city, they should have came home.
The city, right.
Yes.
Because we are a musical city.
Yes.
First.
Yes.
Now, regardless of if you like go-go or not, it's here.
Right.
It's nowhere else. Now, you got bands that'll do it in Atlanta, bands that do it in North Carolina.
Right.
And they are doing it the way they do it there, based off of what they hear of going on up here. Right?
Yeah.
So they go down there and play the way they play.
Right.
But it's go-go. We got to have this, we got to have that, and we got to have that. We don't got them three elements, we not a go-go band.
Not go-go.
Right. So, and we got to play this certain type of way. Mm-hmm. Now, they play cover tune, they play their own original stuff. But here's the thing. You got rap artists out here who won't cover another rapper, but they come out with their own original stuff, right? And they will make you listen to it. They might rap off another person's instrumental, but they will make you listen to their original raps doing their original thing.
Right.
Go-Go has the potential to do the exact same thing in a way where they are people who play cover tunes, but they play them inside their own original songs. You ever hear somebody do a change inside of a song and go right back to an old song and a new song they playing?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then they go right back to their regular song, right?
Yeah.
There's ways to get around not being able to get over
believe
this fence. Right.
We old school. We know that.
Nobody wants to challenge the people that everybody don't want to come out the house unless they're getting paid now. Like, we older. Right? But this young generation, they want to do the same thing they used to do. But they don't have no direction, they don't have no way, and they're going to do it the way they do it. And once they become successful, you can't go tell them how to do it right.
But when we're talking the young generation, do they see it being done as a band? See, bands are distinct. Extinct.
You're right.
I mean, who is it? Who's known as probably the last band, R&B, is Mint Condition.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the scary part to me. We with this younger generation.
Yeah, it's the mentality of the bad stuff that happens when bands are together. Like, we all have seen, because we all been in bands before, how the turmoil happens and the music suffers right after that.
Right.
You know, that guy who played that part is not in our band no more, but the new guy don't know how to play it as well as he did. Mm-hmm. He's gone because you can't get along. Right. So the music suffers, the culture suffers, the movement suffers because we have so much animosity towards each other because we're so close. Okay. Right? No one wants to say, you know what,
it ain't even worth it. I already know that.
Right. It ain't even worth it to me no more to be arguing with you about something that happened 20 years ago. Yeah. Right? We both grown, we both moved on, we both done everything. And at this particular point with this team being named and all this, everything got to go back to zero. It has to. Because if it doesn't, we're not going to never see this opportunity again. And then when it does come, it could be a bad situation that even makes us more further in the hole. So,
so step it up right here. Right now, let's take some bullet points.
Okay.
What should bands be doing? This opportunity that's happening. First of all, look at it as an opportunity and not a stumbling block.
Right. Well, as an opportunity, just have your business in order for when people want to do business with a go-go band.
When you say have your business in order.
Well, Malachi said it when he was working at Rams Head, he ran into it a lot. You know, bands wanted to play in there, but they wasn't really willing to do the required things that every other band would have to do to come perform in this place. You know, they wanted to hook up instead of getting the press kit together and getting all this other stuff together. They needed to.
That boggled me when he said that. I'm like, they actually do that?
Yeah, wow. And he said these people been in business for 20 years. I'm thinking you should know this.
Right.
Like this, we talked after he did that video. He said, I'm thinking these people should know this stuff, right? But I'm thinking, nah, they really don't. You know, some people don't care because they see money come in and they put money out. That's all they worried about. So the getting your business together is because what happens is because somebody's going to call you Because they looking for go-go. If this is a genre, this is a culture, this is a lifestyle, you people, where is the music? I want that band that played that song I heard on the radio. I want that band, So now you gotta have your business together because these people are doing contracts. And they want you to come in and be who you are. But you gotta have your business right because they're cutting checks.
Right.
And they're doing contracts. They want riders. What do you need? I bring my own equipment. Okay, that's even better. That's number one. Get your business in order as far as being a band. Like if you got that in order, you can go anywhere and perform because you can do business like everybody else does.
Right.
And go-go's the one place that doesn't do business they do business on a handshake and faith. Hope you got my money at the end of the night. Yeah. And that's every band member too does it with a manager. Yeah. It's just a handshake every night. That contract is that my money will be there at the end of the night.
Right.
And when it's not, there's no legal ramifications other than you promised me or you owe me.
Okay. So get your business right. What else?
I mean, get you at least one decent original song. And what kills me is a person will leave a go-go band to be an R&B artist and go crazy trying to find original music, right? To push themselves as an R&B artist with their original music, and then come on the weekends and play in a band that's playing cover tunes, right? So I'm saying to the go-go bands, get you a nice, decent go-go song. Push that original thing all over the place. Why you still doing your thing?
Yeah, I would say push it because I can tell you there's tons. Because I run the Team My Go-Go Radio online, I know for a fact that there are tons of original stuff. Was just debating that with my cousin the other day. And I know even twice so far for the past 2 years, Tom Goldfogle has run that campaign every May called New Music Month, where plenty of bands have put out, and I'm talking about, and we'll push it.
Right.
We'll promote it and we'll push it.
We need more of that. We need more of that.
I know that. That's what I'm saying.
If I don't hear it, I'm not looking for it, but I don't hear it. So I'm saying it's a problem. Somebody need to bridge that gap.
So the thing, to what we talk, I'm going back to me, pushing it.
Right.
How to, the steps to push it. Now that we talking social media is flooded. Social media is flooded.
But I don't see it. I don't see it come across my timeline. Nobody gets away. I've not seen a sponsored go-go page come across my timeline ever.
What do you mean by that?
You go through and you see an ad from, let's say, Fidelity Bank, and you like sponsor. How did I get on my timeline?
Okay.
Right? Nobody takes time out to do metrics on Facebook. Right? Nobody takes the time out to do who is looking at go-go at what certain time of the day.
They'll do it for a show.
Right.
They'll do it for a show. They'll flood it with a show.
Right. But you won't do it for your band.
They won't do it for a product.
Right. You won't do, your promoters are promoting something that you don't even promote yourself.
Right.
Like you waiting for the promoter to promote your band instead of you promoting your band yourself.
Right.
You should when the promoter says you got a show, he should already slide into your blockchain of things you already doing. So now that you promoting already your shows and this promoter slides in, you should already be having your fans clicking in and seeing that instead of saying, "Oh, we got a show next week." Well, who promoting it? Our promoter's promoting it, but you're not telling everybody else you got a show. So I don't see that. I don't see the metrics. I don't see the
something you mentioned on Hobby. I saw you mentioned on Hobby Show, and you mentioned that the owner. They did do search and research through Google. People don't understand the importance of Google and keywords and tagging. And I can tell you now, I can see videos on YouTube with no description. They don't realize how important the description.
And they gotta figure out what they watching. They gotta figure out what they looking at.
It should have. Well, first of all, it should have description in it. That's just because the keywords are important. Right. But then you have your tag keywords. They understand the importance of that when it comes for searching. Right. YouTube is owned by Google. Right. They're together. So when you put it in those keywords are important because when somebody's doing a search, if I do a Google search,
query all that, pull it to you, and send it to you. Since you're looking for
and that's the stuff that comes up right on the first, second, and third pages.
So tagging your stuff is very important, and knowing what to tag it is very important.
Because you said they pulled up all kinds of crazy
stuff. We had to go, almost like, you had to make it make sense because it was all over the place.
Right.
It was just all over the place. And this is why I guess I was making a point is if you control your information, you can control your own narrative.
Right.
You tell the people how you want to be presented to the world because this is the information you give them. Right? Instead of me doing it, like if I do a YouTube website or a YouTube search for, let's say, Rare Essence.
Right.
All kinds of stuff is going to come up.
Yeah,
it's going to come up with the essence when Kim was singing with him.
Right.
It's going to come up with the essence when 32 was rapping with him. But where's the essence to get on the wagons? I heard Benny used to play with them, but there's no relationship nowhere that puts that together for me. If I'm trying to find a history of this stuff and put it all together where I'm trying to present it to some people that want to come in and do something marketing wise to elevate this thing. So we as a culture don't take the information we have seriously enough to organize it in a place like on your site.
Well, you made me think, because when you mentioned Benny, and of course I was my man without a doubt, but it made me think of when he passed, right? And you go on the internet and do all kinds, and there were a lot of searches on all kinds of different sites about it.
Right.
But the only reference they had to Benny, if you go there and you look, it was all the article that T-Ma did on him years ago,
right,
with the interview. So everybody who, whether it was I can't think of that site, EUR Web or all these other sites, Global Grime and all that, they all put something up about Benny.
Right.
But they all linked to that one
that you did.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's
just
what I'm
like when
trying to tell you.
In video, they all used the video. J-Rock and Ron has a video of us, Benny and the Masters, playing the Metro Club.
Right, yeah, I saw that.
That same video that J-Rock and Ron put up has probably the most hits or whatever up there of Go-Go. Is the same video everybody used to put up when putting up about Benny.
That's branding and that's marketing. Because when you can go somewhere and control that narrative, when you've done that, when they didn't have to guess who Benny was, you told them.
Right.
Based off one place they went. There wasn't 15 other different places. It came right to that one place.
Right.
And I think we have to get behind that.
Where everybody have to have that frame of mind, just how important it is.
It is. It's very important because we're not going to be here when things really start to happen for Go-Go in a way where it did back in the 80s. Yeah. Like when people really paid attention to it, when art and music, instrumentation and artistry really gets back into it again.
Right.
We might not be around when it happens again. But what we did will be.
There it is. That's what I'm talking about.
So that's one of the things I'm doing over at Hobby Show. I'm trying to archive a lot of things that we say and do as a culture and as a people. So when the people who really aren't paying attention to us now, when they start to,
it's there.
They can put it together because we here.
Right.
We piecing it together. People see pieces and fragments of it. But when you put it all as a big picture, then you understand, oh, okay, so now I see why that's the way it is. Oh, I see why this person is here and that person is there. And this is, you can all relate it now because it's all in one place. And we need to take more responsibility for that as a culture.
Okay. All right. So, about to wrap it up. Appreciate this conversation, man. No problem. Without a doubt. Now, at this point of this episode here, no one should be asking, who is this guy? He talking some good stuff, but who is he? You know, we got that info.
I mean, my friends love me, man. Most people don't understand me, think I'm a,
Well, no, it's just that we the oldest. I mean, we the OGs. I mean, be real honest. I mean, I had to accept it.
And people don't think I am. I'm pretty much an OG, I could say.
Yeah, pretty. Go ahead, man.
I had a front seat to a lot of stuff that most people weren't privy to. So, I'm blessed.
And the most important thing you can give to the younger generation is what? What is the most important thing you can get to?
Consistency. In whatever it is you do.
And knowledge.
Be consistent. Even with the knowledge, be consistent with it.
Yeah.
Be consistent with the teaching. Be consistent with the time. Be consistent with giving them things to look up to.
Yeah.
Just be consistent. Because that's one thing we did with TCB was we were consistent with how we did the business.
Yeah.
It was always the same no matter who we dealt with. It was always the same. Yeah. So just be consistent.
All right. How are them Bo and them doing that? I mean, they still playing. Right?
Yeah, Bo and them still playing. They are doing what they do.
Right.
It's play go-go. It might not be on the level they were doing it when.
But that's what we do.
But they still doing it because they love it. They still,
it's in them.
And they not doing it like they used to. And I can admit that things change. Personnel, personalities, people get older. But the main thing they still doing is they still contributing to the art and the culture go. They still doing their thing. They haven't stopped. So
what is Darrin X doing? And we gotta get into how you get that name Darrin X. What is Darrin X doing? How did you get that name Darrin X? Anyway?
Well, like I said, Funk used to call me Teddy because of Teddy Riley back then when I was hanging with these guys. And one day when Spike Lee was doing the Malcolm X movie, he was filming it then. It wasn't like social media back then, but it was like press releases. So, Spike was doing this movie called X. And I had an X hat, right? And I was just getting into, practicing Islam back then. And I had a Quran with me on a bus we was riding down to do a show. And Funk was the one that said something to me like, what you reading that for? I'm like, cuz, man, I'm studying Islam. He was like, oh, yeah, so you think you Malcolm X now? Yeah, okay. All right, X. That's X back there, y'all. He reading the Quran, so he picking with me. So that stuck. So he started calling me Mr. X. Donnell started calling me Darrin X inside his raps, stuff he was saying. So my first name and Mr. X, like everybody thought that was my last name, but no, it wasn't. But Funk was the one that actually gave me a name, Mr. X.
Funk gave a lot of people that name. What's this, man?
It's that microphone, man.
Yeah,
it's always that. Anybody run that one is a special person.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions? Who's the real GOAT? It's Funk.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Funk. Me and him got a, me and him, he called me, when my brother passed, and it meant a lot to me because I was there when his brother passed,
Right.
And, Funk, me and Funk got a special relationship, man. That's my man, man. He's a cool dude, man. He's always been a cool dude to me.
Yeah, I always looked up to the cat.
Yeah.
Always. Well, appreciate you coming through.
No problem, man. Thank you for having me.
Talking that talk.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Anytime, man. Even behind the scenes.
I missed the invite to the Wizards game, but
it's gonna be plenty of opportunities to hang with these guys, man. Trust me, when it's time to do the work that they need to be done, T-Mart, Go Live, Heartbeat Congo, all of y'all guys got to be involved in this, and that's why I'm saying we got to come together. We got to, everybody. We got to.
Shout going out to everybody that's doing a platform. No matter how personally folks feel about each other. Everybody's platform is important, and the image that you're portraying on your platform is very important.
And push your stuff, man. Push your stuff, not just here, anywhere.
Yeah,
you got plenty of PA tapes out here. Push it. I don't care what it sounds. I mean, people are going to gravitate to it and say negative or say positive, but just do it.
One thing about social media. Everybody, one thing, if I haven't learned nothing else, one of the biggest thing I learned about social media, I don't care what it is, everybody got a different opinion.
Yeah, you can
I
find
put this up, people will
anything.
say this is black, and there's going to be a whole bunch that say it's blue.
Blue, right? You're going to
find
others
say it's
anything.
purple.
But anything,
period.
It's just as long as they talking.
As long as they talking.
As long as it's a conversation.
It is.
As long as it's a conversation.
My man. Thank you.
For sure. Appreciate it.